Growing up through the decades, we've been lied to, we've been stolen from, and we've been told one thing to come find out later down the road is not true. You look at the incredible edible egg, some point in time it causes high cholesterol, other points in time it's good for you. Fluoride, great for your teeth. Is it really? Really depends on the research that you look at. Many things that we have been shown one thing and then proven wrong. Many things have been steamrolled. Look at marijuana. You turn around and look at how that was campaigned. It was steamrolled with false information. It happens all the time. People will pay researchers to give results that show and prove their theories. Researchers, being not very rich people, will take the money and produce the research. Is it ethical? No, but it happens all the time. Mercury has been one of those things that has been messed with and played with since the times of the Egyptians. Romans messed with it. We had mercury in our sync gauges for carburetors when we were tuning multi-cylinder carburetors. They got rid of the mercury because they said it was toxic. It's something that they've been telling us for decades. Mercury is toxic. It causes people to go crazy. But yeah, so we're trying to get into space and beyond. Mercury might be something that we can look at. We don't know. Let's get into these videos and see what they have to say. Here's the first video, rotating mercury generated by magnetic field. They've got a couple of wires, box. Okay, so they've got one going to this ring, one wire going to the outside ring, one wire going to the inside ring. Blitz to power, that's a lot of liquid mercury. Fill it so the mercury touches everything. Remember, liquid mercury is a metal. So it should conduct the electricity straight through it. No idea what that is. Or is it just to show you flow? Magnet. In the middle. Oh, so the magnet's what actually gets it to spin. The powder is just to show flow. That's very interesting. Push the magnet in upside down. Look, and it starts flowing the other direction. That could make a really interesting gyroscopic effect. Especially if you can get it to flow really fast. And instantly starts flowing from the inside. Starts flowing from the inside. So the magnetic side, the magnet is what sets the direction. It's interesting that flipping it over makes it set the other direction. Alright, so that could definitely give potentials for spinning vortexes, gyroscopic things. If you can get it to spin fast enough, you can definitely get some kind of gyroscopic effect off of it and possible propulsion. Hook it to a generator. Base plate with one power feed. The other power feed goes to that, so he's got the powers separated again. The magnet is, this time, actually separating the two. That's spinning fast. Now imagine if you had something floating on a magnetic surface or separated from that with veins in the mercury. The mercury would be spinning the veins. You could by all means put a propeller, a wheel. I wonder how much torque you can generate with this. Again, this time he's changing the voltage polarity, not the magnetic polarity. and it's spinning it the other way. So there's two different ways to change the direction of flow, either by switching the voltage direction or the magnetic direction. And I'll bet you if you use an electromagnet, made it a lot stronger, it would spin a lot faster. That looks like a microwave magnet. The possibilities for this are very, very broad. This can be used on so many different aspects of life. From power generating to vehicles in motion and, oh man. And it could definitely possibly do anti-gravity also. We do not know because we haven't been able to spend the time getting the technology going. Now let's see what they say about why Mercury engine is forbidden. Because it disrupts oil. It disrupts all the people that are already entrenched in the industries.
When you hear the word mercury, what are the first words that appear in your mind? Are they words like dangerous, poisonous, or hazardous? If so, we're not surprised. From a very young age, our parents and school teachers all told us that mercury could be lethal. We know from studying damage that even mercury vapor can cause irreparable damage to the human body. In many countries, including Russia, even the storage of mercury can be subject to criminal penalties. But why are we so afraid of this substance? Today, we're so afraid of mercury that we daren't even touch it. But our ancestors had no such fear of it, either as a liquid or a gas. Some of the civilizations who came before us believed that mercury had magical properties and tried to use it for alchemy.
They knew stuff about them that we didn't know. There's channels out there that go into the historical aspects and knowledge of what the people before us knew, and we don't give them enough credit for the technology that they had. What we think is not what actually happened, but that's a different kind of channel. Mercury was used by many different ancient cultures for many different things.
It was believed that mercury was the foundation of all good medicine, and attempted to use it to heal rather than to harm. Rather than running away from mercury, whole armies used to sweep into countries for the purpose of capturing it. The whole reason the hordes of Genghis Khan conquered Fergana is that the ancient city was a known producer of mercury, and Khan wanted to get his hands on that valuable resource. Pliny the Elder, a noted ancient Roman writer, recorded in his diaries that the Roman Empire fought and bartered with Spain for over a century to secure half a ton of mercury for their own purposes.
What do these cultures and civilizations know that we have forgotten? There's technology that we have forgotten in the modern age. With our modern technology, we have definitely lost the way when it comes to certain things. And I have a feeling that this is one of them.
The phrase, the Philosopher's Stone, will be familiar to any fans of the Harry Potter movie franchise. But the story of the Philosopher's Stone goes back a lot further than that. In times of antiquity, it was thought that the Philosopher's Stone was a magical artifact, capable of
Mercury is really strange because it is extracted from stones, but it is liquid at room temperature as a metal. Very, very peculiar metal. We do not have enough information on
any base metal into precious gold or silver. Many people believed that the Philosopher's Stone might have been made of mercury. If someone said to you, "Give me a sea of mercury and I will turn it into gold," you would probably assume they were insane. But those words were once spoken by the famous physicist Sir Isaac Newton. Newton was a firm believer that mercury had special properties that could be exploited with the right study and research, and devoted 3 whole decades of his life to studying it.
So why are we not studying it anymore? What's happened that we're not studying this anymore? I'm very curious.
Sadly, the full extent of his research is a closely guarded secret, and his records have been lost to time. Taking all of the above into account, it's clear that our ancestors had a very different relationship.
Are any of you surprised? Hey, something really cool, something that we can use. Let's make it go away. How many times has this happened?
With mercury than the one we have today. Even as recently as the second half of the last century, mercury was accepted for many different industrial uses. It was even still considered as an ingredient in medicine in some parts of the world.
Well,
It's only recently that things have changed, and now the mere mention of mercury is enough to make grown adults run away screaming. Let's think about this for a moment, though. If mercury is truly as poisonous as people now say it is, why was it mined and fought over for so many centuries? How did our ancestors survive prolonged exposure to it? We know that they worked with it in a very hands-on way, because we've seen so many historical artifacts made from cinnabar.
like I said before, researchers can be paid and bought to say whatever you want them to say. If the governments are trying to hide something because they've got research and information that they don't want the general public to know, then that is something that we're never going to find out about. But there's got to be a reason that there's stigma behind it when it was used so frequently and so readily for so long. Mercury glass, I mean, there's so much stuff that just makes no sense as to why now it is taboo. But for so many centuries, not even decades, but so many centuries, it was used all over the place.
Cinnabar is a red brick form of mercury sulfide and offers the easiest way to extract elemental mercury. To get liquid mercury from cinnabar, all you need to do is heat it in an oven. The minerals will crack open, and a steam of liquid mercury will begin to flow out of it. When extracted like this, the mining of mercury is almost completely safe.
Steam of liquid mercury? So you're boiling the mercury out of the rock. Wow.
Only when you combine it with other substances do problems begin to occur. Some of the people who have worked with mercury in the past, along with some of those who still do today, are so relaxed about working with mercury that they don't even feel the need to wear protective clothing when doing so. Here, we even see someone put mercury in their mouth without any signs of ill effects. Here's another who shows no fear of submerging their entire hand in liquid mercury.
And there's lots and lots of videos of people doing this all over the internet. This is not something that's actually uncommon. Those that can get their hands on it aren't scared of it. Why are they not scared of it, but why is everybody else saying it's bad? It's contradicting information that makes you go, You guys know anything down in the comments below is the place to put it, because I'm curious. We've got tech here that we could really use to do really cool stuff, and it's being blocked for some reason.
If they're not afraid of mercury, then why is everybody else? Let's look at some of the little-known and little-explored possibilities of mercury. During the 1980s in the USSR, there were constant rumors that the military was using mercury for the construction of special, ultra-powerful radio antennas. A curious and scientifically minded person decided to see if this was possible and built a mercury antenna in their own home. It worked perfectly. We can also see in texts from the time that ancient scientists wrote about a strange substance called red lion, which we understand to be a form of red mercury.
See, now they're getting into the different kinds of mercury. And if you're going to start adding stuff to it, then sure, it's going to start doing weird stuff. But if the ancients were playing with fresh, raw mercury and had no problems, and we have no problems as long as it's untainted, where's the problem here?
Some Soviet scientists even believed that red mercury could have the same properties as the Philosopher's Stone. Going back a little further, during the 1960s, it's rumored that Soviet scientists spent millions of dollars attempting to synthesize red mercury in secret laboratories, with the intention of selling it to foreign powers at the price of $500,000 for each kilogram.
$500,000 a kilogram. What is so special about this stuff that they don't want the public to know?
Of course, we are now told that none of this ever happened, and that the creation of such a substance would never be possible. Let's put red mercury aside for a moment and go back to discussing plain old silver mercury. How many of you know that mercury could hold the secret of anti-gravity? Mercury interacts in a unique way with magnetic fields, which makes it possible to build mercury engines capable of powering themselves.
We just watched that video.
Exposure to mercury
And that
is enough
video.
to start an engine spinning. It's thought that much top-secret research has been done on the possibilities of mercury engines, but that research is heavily classified.
Imagine that. Just like we're reverse engineering the UFOs that have been caught over the decades. And yeah, that's another topic that's really not for this channel, but holy cow, there's some interesting stuff on that too.
All of it has been hidden away, though. During the 1990s, physicist Mikhailovich Polyakov openly conducted anti-gravity experiments with mercury. Polyakov designed something he referred to in his notes as a vortex inertial motor. In essence, his motor created vertical traction against the force of gravity by accelerating channels of mercury vapor in an enclosed space.
Why is this tech not being refined? Why is this not one of the pioneering new charges forward? Who cares about EVs if you can do this?
Using this method, he demonstrated that he could create a limited anti-gravity field, capable of lifting several kilograms of weight into the air. His work should have been an introduction to an era of anti-gravity engineering, but sadly seems to have gone no further.
Imagine what it would do to the rubber companies. Oh my God, the tire industry would come to an end. If everything was hovering and there was anti-gravity everything, you'd never have a flat tire again. Oh, another industry that would be absolutely smashed by this technology if it was mainstream. But it's not. It's behind closed doors, hush hush. If you do something with it, we make you sleepy in your Cheerios.
Polyakov's work was exciting, but he was far from the first scientist to notice the potential of mercury to work against gravity. An ancient Indian text was discovered in a temple in 1875, which is believed to have been written 2,500 years ago and may have been based on even older writings.
How did they make the pyramids? They levitated the blocks. How do you get that from? The book told me it did. I mean, come on. Really? This is not hard stuff.
The texts described how mercury was used as a fuel for various devices, and the knowledge contained within the text is thought to have contributed to the German technological revolution of the early 20th century.
I mean, Germany was having issues. They were having serious issues. They needed their economy to come back. That was one thing that the Mr. Mustache did, was he brought the economy back. Granted, he started an gnarly war, but he fixed the German economy, and he was doing severe mercury research. Major research with mass quantities.
Some sources say that the ancient text became the primary source of inspiration for all German military technology, and that the scientists who studied it were astounded by the accuracy and specification of the records. Going further, some even say that the pages contain designs and proposals for ancient aircraft. We know that mercury has been used to create flying vehicles in the past at least once, and far earlier than anyone would imagine. The earliest example was in 1751, when a scientifically minded monk named Andrea Grimaldi flew over the English Channel and landed in Dover, taking just over an hour and 7 minutes. The device is said to have resembled a giant bird, and confirmation that the journey occurred exists in the form of letters, which are...
Then why do the Wright brothers have the... If this is... Explain this to us, because we're very confused. If this dude flew beforehand, is it because they couldn't replicate it? Because he knew something that nobody else wanted to believe? It's always the quiet ones and the little ones that have the good information. Mainstream is not always the way to go.
In both London and Italy. A study of the apparatus was performed in French Lyon and was signed by 3 academics. Many years later, in 1895, an unmanned mercury-based flying vehicle was demonstrated by Dr. Del Padre, who was the professor.
Unmanned! Unmanned! What? See? Yes. Mainstream says go with side-by-sides because that's the newest thing out there, and the UTVs, and ooh, that's the thing that everybody's into. But yet that's where people like me fall back, because I'm the one still making the race trikes and the conversions and selling parts that nobody else is making anymore. Other companies have fallen out of the industry because Mr. GOVT said no. Well, if you don't do things certain ways, then yes, they can do all kinds of weird stuff. But there's still going to be other people that are still doing it. Look at the information that the small people can give you, because sometimes it's going to be stuff that's been ignored by mainstream because it does not suit their narrative.
Of the School of Art in Bombay. He took his inspiration directly from the pages of the ancient Indian text and created a device which flew up to 1,500 feet in the air before gently descending and returning to Earth.
That's insane.
There were many witnesses to that event, including government officials. It wasn't a totally successful test, but demonstrated that the basic idea behind the Mercury engine worked.
All you need is proof of concept. Once you have proof of concept, it's refining. That's it. Most of the R&D is done. You've got proof of concept. Look, it works. Now we just refine it so that it works better. It's the same thing that I do. I build front ends and triple clamps, and I convert dirt bikes and quads into three-wheelers because I can. Because I enjoy it, and because people need that niche filled. It's not hard for me to do, and everything is a one-off particular build. There is no kit. So it's not like you can call me up and say, I need a three-wheeler kit. I'm not going to give you a three-wheeler kit. What are you building it for? What are you racing? These are the questions that need to be known. As long as it is a race product, then certain rules do not apply. And it's pretty much that simple. If we build race bikes, that's what we do here. Build race bikes, build stuff for people to go out and go fast on. That's what it is. The little people can sometimes be the ones that can be the front runners.
Successes were enough to make Germany firm believers in the potential of the Mercury engine. And many historians believe they were making significant progress towards turning it into workable reality during the Second World War. We all know how that ended, though. Hitler was defeated, and much German military equipment and research was destroyed, although all of the Allies curiously made significant scientific progress.
Actually, the information was not destroyed, it was distributed.
In the immediate aftermath of the war. What we still don't have today, though, are any high-tech devices which make use of these mysterious Mercury engines. Nor do we have any Mercury fuel generators, even though they clearly have a purpose and a practical benefit. The handling of Mercury is prohibited, and scientific use of it is severely restricted. Why might that be the case? Well, we don't want to contribute to any conspiracy theories, but if Mercury engines worked,
I will.
All the companies who make fuel and gas for combustion engines would immediately be out of business, and the income of oil barons and oil trading nations would suddenly disappear. That's probably a good reason for rich people to pay to keep it under wraps.
Yep.
Have you heard any of these theories about Mercury before?
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, because yes, conspiracy theories do fall right into it, and the men in the black coats and oil industry and all, all the people with all the big money that you're not supposed to poke. That's what stuff like this does, is poke. I put out another video about Stanley Meyer and his water-powered car with the blueprints of the ignition system that he used to do it with, because if you put it out there, people can try and replicate it. So check that video out too. Let me know what you think about Mercury engines and Mercury technology. Do you think that it's something that we should get a little bit more out in the forefront and open and a lot less restricted? Why is it so restrictive? What's keeping us from doing more research? It can't be just the health hazards. It's got to be something else. Let me know in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.